If you or I died tomorrow, would we rest in peace? Some of us would leave behind mothers, fathers, siblings, children, wives, girlfriends, or pets. So if we perish at this very instant and just drop dead, do we feel comfortable enough to leave these relationships behind, knowing that they're in safe hands? A recent survey showed that most One Piece fans in Japan are between the ages of 19 and 29 years old. I happen to be in that age range as well, so I don't know how many fans in that bracket thought about this question lately. But realistically, do we feel comfortable enough to leave these relationships behind, knowing they are in safe hands? We all have friends, schoolmates, coworkers. Personally, I know my three best friends for over a decade, but would I feel safe leaving my family's safety and well being to them if I die? The short answer would be no. So, are my friends bad friends? Do I need to look for better people to befriend? Not really, I don't think so. If you look around the world, friendship is based on having similar hobbies, enjoying the same spots in the city, or being able to talk about multiple subjects without being judged. And these things are amazing and they lead to great relationships. But the bond we will be examining today runs far deeper than that. If I had to correlate Luffy and Zoro's camaraderie to real life relationships, I would akin it to soldiers, Navy SEALs, firefighters, people who work in hostile environments, surrounded by death and danger. And in these type of professions, trust is key. You can't complete your tasks by yourself, and you will always have to lean on your mates for help and sometimes even for survival. This brings us to two of the most beloved characters of all times. Monkey D. Luffy and Roronoa Zoro. A pirate and a pirate hunter. As funny as it sounds, these two might have struck one of the best friendships ever written. I'm not going to go back and recap their whole relationship timeline, but I will use references from the story as needed later in the video. So let us start with the Luffy side of the relationship. What makes him a huge threat to the world government, to the Yonko, to the rest of the supernovas? I think it's the same thing that makes him such a popular character among the fans of the series. It's his recklessness, his willingness to challenge all comers regardless of their strength levels. In the meantime, we know that the most important thing for Luffy, even more important than finding the One Piece and becoming king of the pirates, is the safety and well-being of his crew and family. I don't think there is any debate that Luffy would gladly sacrifice his own life and dreams for the life and dreams of one of his crew members. We've seen many examples of this in arcs like Arlong Park, Drum Island, Whole Cake Island, and most impressively done in Annie's Lobby. So from the 2 points I have just made, and explaining one of the most prominent characteristics of Luffy, extreme recklessness towards challengers, and extreme love and passion towards his loved ones, we can clearly see how these features do not go hand in hand. They just don't match. In fact, they clash. Throughout the story, Luffy's recklessness led to the Straw Hats getting into many conflicts. The pursuit of the One Piece itself is guaranteed to put the Straw Hats in front of even more danger. So how can Luffy manage to balance between these two extremes? How can he manage to be true to himself at all times, pursue his dreams every day, and not worry too much about the safety of his nakama? Well, in my opinion, the answer to that has got to do with the very first question I asked at the beginning of the video. Luffy is at peace with death. He's comfortable with that concept and assumes it in all of his actions. He's not oblivious to it. Even when he rushes headfirst to challenge Big Mom or Kaido, both of whom are opponents he has no chance against at this time. So why is Luffy at peace with death when most characters in One Piece, as well as most humans in real life, are not good with it? Well, that, my friends, is the secret power of Zoro. Zoro has played tremendous role in the Straw Hats going this far in Grand Line. His strength levels increased potentially throughout the journey, but more importantly, his role grew as well. Zoro has always been reliable, honest, and loyal. He fit the role of a protector from the very beginning when he saved Luffy from Buggy, Nami from Arlong, Vivi from Mr. Five, Chopper and Skypiea, Robin in multiple instances, Brook from Ryuma, Usopp from Kaku, and multiple members of the crew from Yuzo, Monet, and Pika. And you all know that the most important save, perhaps, in the entire story so far was when Zoro just stood still and absorbed all of Luffy's pain in order to get Kuma to leave the island they were in. All of these instances make Zoro the incredible badass that he is. But let me take a second to acknowledge that Sanji has been amazing in this whole adventure as well. He saved the crew in many occasions. I am choosing to focus on Luffy's relationship with Zoro in this video solely because I personally believe that Zoro always aspires to be stronger. In fact, his dream is to be the strongest swordsman alive. Therefore, with that type of quest for power, I feel like Zoro has to assume more responsibility towards protecting the crew. Even if all the Straw Hats play a vital role in reaching the One Piece, we cannot put the same expectations on Nami or Usopp to fight off Admiral level threats. That is why Zoro trains day and night. In the meanwhile, Sanji's dream is not power related. Even though he's a really strong fighter and a brave warrior, I wouldn't put the same level of responsibility on his shoulders as I would put on Zoro, whose dream is totally power related. But beside this point that I quite frankly think is obvious, let us take a look at another question. Why is there no current king of the pirates? I mean, we have encountered so many powerful characters and large crews. Why couldn't any of them reach the One Piece? In my opinion, one of the main reasons is the huge difference in power between the captains and first commanders. Let's take the Yonkos for example. The power discrepancy between Katakuri and Big Mom, King and Kaido, Marco and Whitebeard is astounding. Yes, all those first commander level characters are cool and very strong, but incomparable with their leaders. And perhaps we would all agree that they aren't even on the level of a Marine Admiral. But if you take a look, on the other hand, at the man who actually did it and became king of the pirates, well, he had a magnificent crew and an insanely powerful right-hand man. Silver Rayleigh showed great skill and stood his ground with Admiral Kizaru, even getting the upper hand at times at 76 years old. This leads me to believe that in his prime he would have mopped the floor with him. In episode 870, and although a lot of that episode was filler, we have been shown how Rayleigh took down a Gear 4th Luffy with ease the same way Kaido did. And being Luffy's mentor, teaching him everything he knows about Haki, I think Luffy could clearly see how having a right-hand man with tremendous power and loyalty at the same time could lead to the greatest success. I think that the other Yonkos are too afraid or have too much ego to let any of their insubordinates to flourish, and reach a high level comparable to theirs. And that is the reason why, even though their individual powers are insane, they still haven't reached what Goldie Roger reached all these years back. Some would say, well, the strongest crew ever mentioned in One Piece so far was the Rock's pirates, which encompassed Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom at the same time. Well, there is no doubt that this crew meets the strength criteria to conquer Grand Line and the world. Why didn't they, though? The answer is the lack of chemistry, unity, and belief in the same common goal. Zoro has none of these harmful traits. His loyalty and respect for Luffy comes from mutual belief in their vision of what is fair and what is important. In conclusion, I think that Zoro's role is very much needed for any team to succeed. If you look at sports, which is one of the very few real-life activities that inspire me as much as fiction, there's always a need for someone like Zoro. In the NBA, massive stars like Dwayne Wade, Scottie Pippen, Anthony Davis, Steph Curry, and even the late great Kobe Bryant, at one point in their careers, took facilitative roles that limited their personal glory in order for the team to achieve massive success. That happens in world football as well, with players like Benzema, Suarez, David Silva, Sadio Mane, who all could have had bigger roles at one point or the other in their careers. This does not make them any less talented or less crucial for their teams, and the accomplishments speak for themselves. So in my opinion, Zoro is the key for Luffy to become King of the Pirates.